The rain was not playing around. Zara Malik stood outside the tallest building in Chicago, soaked through her thrifted blazer, the cream one she'd ironed 3 times that morning, her portfolio folder pressed flat against her chest like body armor. Her boots, black ankle ones she'd worn to death, splashed into a puddle at the entrance. She did not flinch. She had no flinch left in her. 6 months. That was how long her photography studio had been dead. 6 months of silence, rejection emails, and ramen eaten over a spreadsheet that never added up. Then Noah Kane called. Not his assistant. Him. Personally. She stepped into the lobby of Kane Creative Group and the warmth hit her like a slap. Marble floors. Ambient lighting. A ceiling that stretched up like a cathedral built for billionaires. Zara caught her reflection in the elevator doors as she rode up to the 38th floor. Mascara slightly smudged. Lip gloss faded. The small gold hoop in her ear, her late mom's, catching the light. She looked tired. She looked real. She looked like someone who had nothing left to lose. The doors opened. The office was cold in a different way than the rain. Floor-to-ceiling glass, minimalist furniture in matte black and bone white, abstract sculptures that probably cost more than her student loan. And at the far end, behind a desk that could double as a runway, sat Noah Kane. He was not what she Googled. The article said 34, tech-turned-creative mogul, ruthless. They did not say he would be wearing a plain navy crewneck and gray sweats like he had just come from a run. They did not say his jaw would look like it was carved out of frustration. They did not say his eyes, dark, unreadable, would lock onto her the second she walked in like she was a problem he was already trying to solve. You're Zara Malik. Not a question. Last time I checked. She crossed the floor and sat down without being asked. Spine straight. Chin up. Noah leaned back in his chair and studied her the way you study a painting you are not sure you like yet. Your studio collapsed. He folded his hands. Tell me why. The question landed like a punch. She had practiced the answer. She had rehearsed it in the shower, on the train, in the elevator. But sitting in front of him, under that gaze, her practiced words felt cheap. My clients dried up, she said. I was shooting luxury brands. When the economy tanked, luxury was the first thing they cut. I had overhead. No income. The math did not work. So you failed. She did not blink. I rebuilt, she said. There's a difference. Something shifted in his face. Fast. Gone before she could name it. I need someone to lead the visual identity of my new venture, Noah said, standing now, moving toward the windows. He wore no shoes. Just dark socks on white marble. Not a brand photographer. Someone who sees. Someone who understands that an image is not decoration, it's a story. He turned. But I also need someone who does not talk. My projects are private. My life is more private. I'm not interested in your life, Mr. Kane. Everyone says that. His voice was flat. Nobody means it. Before she could respond, his phone buzzed on the desk. He glanced at it. 1 second. 2. His face went somewhere else entirely. The CEO dissolved. The composure cracked. What was underneath was raw and something close to devastated. You need to go, he said quietly. I'm sorry. The meeting is over. He turned back to the window, phone gripped in his hand. Zara stood slowly. Picked up her portfolio. Walked toward the door. Stopped. What changed? She asked. 30 seconds ago you were testing me. Now you are ending the interview without even opening my work. A long pause. You're hired. His voice was barely above a whisper. She turned. He was still facing the glass, the Chicago skyline blurred by rain behind him. You didn't see a single photo. I didn't need to. He finally looked at her over his shoulder. Sometimes you recognize something in a person. The kind of quiet that only comes from surviving something that should have broken you. He turned back to the window. Start Thursday. Don't be late. Zara walked out. The elevator ride down felt nothing like the ride up. She did not know yet that the message on his phone had read, "They found Marcus. Your brother is alive. But he's in trouble." And she did not know that Noah Kane did not just need a photographer. He needed someone who already knew how to shoot in the dark. The Kane Creative Studio was not what Zara expected. She expected sleek. She expected polished. She expected the same cold perfection as his office. Instead, she stepped into a converted warehouse space on the 30th floor, exposed brick, scattered mood boards, camera equipment in various states of disassembly, paint swatches pinned to a corkboard that someone had clearly stopped caring about months ago. It felt like a room that used to be alive and then got abandoned mid-sentence. "Wow," Zara said before she could stop herself. Noah stood near the window in a charcoal zip-up hoodie and dark jeans, coffee in hand. No suit today. He looked younger. More dangerous somehow. Like the expensive clothes had been armor too. "I know," he said. "It's a mess. It's a graveyard." She set her bag down and turned slowly, taking in the room. "What happened in here?" "The last creative director quit. 3 months ago." He said it like he was reading from a weather report. "Why?" He looked at her. "Why does anyone quit anything?" She let that sit. Crossed to the mood board and studied it. Half-finished concepts. Layered images. Someone had been building something here, something bold, and then just stopped. Whoever this was, Zara said, touching one of the pinned photos, they had a vision. She did. The way he said it. Past tense and wait. Zara turned. "You were close to her." "She was my partner." He set the coffee down. "Professionally. For 4 years. Then one day she said the work had become about my ego and not about art." She was probably right. Zara said nothing. She picked up a camera lying on the table, a vintage Leica, and turned it over in her hands. "Where do you actually create?" she asked. "Not the office. Not here. Where do you go when you want to make something real?" Noah was quiet long enough that she thought he wouldn't answer. Then he walked down a narrow hallway and pushed open a door. Inside was a small darkroom. Old school. Red-tinted light. Prints hanging from lines like wet laundry. A worn wooden stool. A half-drunk mug of something cold on the counter. "You still shoot film?" Zara stepped inside slowly, like entering a church. "It's the only thing that slows me down." He stood in the doorway, arms folded. "Digital is instant. Film makes you think before you press the button." She reached up and touched one of the hanging prints without thinking. A photo of a city street at night, shot from above. Lonely. Beautiful. Aching. "You took this. Don't make it a whole thing." She almost smiled. "I'm not." She lowered her hand and faced him. "I need to understand who you are if I'm going to do this right. This isn't just a branding job. You're the brand. That's exactly what I'm afraid of." His voice dropped. "I've spent 10 years building something that everyone talks about and nobody actually sees. Including me." The air in the darkroom changed. Tight. Close. Zara stepped toward a print near the far wall. It was different from the others. 2 kids. A boy and a younger boy. Arms around each other on a fire escape somewhere gritty and gray. The joy in the image was so real it almost hurt to look at. She reached for it. Noah's hand caught her wrist. Firm. Warm. Not that one. She didn't pull away immediately. She looked at him. He looked at her. Two people standing too close in a room lit red, holding the same silence. Okay, she said quietly. Not that one. He released her. Stepped back. Exhaled. 3 months, she said. Give me access. Give me honesty. I'll give you something that actually looks like you. And if I'm not someone worth looking at, then I'll make sure no one can tell. For the first time, something almost like a real smile moved across his face. Gone in a second. Then the studio door at the end of the hallway slammed open. Heels. Fast. Furious. A woman in a tailored rust-red coat and sharp blowout filled the doorway. Late 20s. The kind of beautiful that knows it and uses it like a tool. She saw Zara. She stopped. Who is this? Her eyes slid to Noah. Jade. His voice flattened. We talked about showing up unannounced. We talked about a lot of things. Jade's gaze moved back to Zara with laser precision. Let me guess. The new hire. The one you found desperate and decided to fix. I'm not a project, Zara said evenly. Jade smiled. Sharp as glass. Oh honey. With him, everyone is. She stepped closer. Did he tell you about the NDA he made the last one sign? Did he tell you what she said before she left? Jade. Noah stepped between them, his voice low and final. Leave. Now. Or what? Jade's voice cracked just slightly. You'll cut me off like you cut off everyone else who got too close to the truth. Truth about what? Zara asked. Jade looked past Noah directly at her. Ask him what happened to his brother. Silence. Noah said nothing. And his silence said everything. 3 weeks in, Zara had learned the rhythms of Noah Kane. He arrived at the studio by 7 a.m., always with 2 coffees, one for him, one that appeared on her desk without comment. He worked in silence until noon, then got loud on calls for exactly 1 hour, then went silent again. He shot film on Tuesdays. He never talked about personal things unless it was dark outside. She was learning him like a language. And she was starting to like what she was learning. She wore her oversized olive cargo pants and a white-fitted long sleeve most days, her natural hair pulled up loose, hoop earrings her mom's and a pair of beat-up Nikes that had logged more miles of grief than she could count. Comfortable. Herself. She had stopped performing for this room. Which was maybe why, on a Tuesday night when the city lights were blurring through the studio glass and the last assistant had gone home, she finally asked. Tell me about Marcus. Noah's hand stilled on the print he was developing. That's not part of the job. You said give you honesty. I'm asking for the same. She leaned against the work table. Jade said his name like it was a wound. The photo in the darkroom. You practically blocked me with your body. A long silence. Rain again. This city loved rain. Noah set the print down. Pulled out the stool and sat on it heavily, like something in him had decided to stop holding up. Marcus is my younger brother, he said finally. 7 years younger. When our parents left, and by left I mean vanished, not died, just chose to go, I raised him. 12 years old, raising a 5-year-old. He stared at his hands. I got us out. Built something. Sent him to the best schools. Did everything right. And the money changed things. I changed things. His jaw tightened. I got obsessed with the empire. Stopped showing up for him the way I used to. He started making choices. Bad ones. People who used him to get to me. He paused. 3 years ago he disappeared. I assumed the worst. Zara said nothing. Let the silence hold him. That text. The day of your interview. He looked up. They found him. He is alive. He's been in witness protection after getting tangled up with people who had been laundering money through my early companies without my knowledge. His voice went rough. Without my knowledge. You didn't know? No. His eyes were red-rimmed. Not crying. Just the weight of something carried too long. But try explaining that to yourself at 3 a.m. for 3 years. Zara crossed the room slowly and sat on the worktable facing him. Why didn't you tell me this from the start? She asked. Why the walls? Because the last person I trusted with the real version of me used it. He said it quiet and clean. No drama. Just fact. She sold a story to a media outlet. About Marcus. About me. About things I had shared in confidence. He looked at her steadily. That's what Jade was hinting at. The woman who left wasn't just my creative partner. She was someone I cared about. And she chose a payday over a person. Something cracked open in Zara's chest. I'm not her, she said. I know. He held her gaze. That's the part that actually scares me. The moment stretched. Then Zara's phone buzzed. She glanced at it out of habit. Her face changed. An email. From an address she didn't recognize. Subject line, thought you should know what he's using you for. Inside, screenshots. Texts. Between Noah and someone named R. He needs someone credible to front the rebrand while he buries the financial scandal. Find someone desperate. Someone who won't ask questions. Zara looked up slowly. Noah was still watching her. Still open. Still the most real she had ever seen him. And she did not know what was true anymore. Zara did not sleep. She sat on her apartment floor, back against the couch, laptop open, screenshots glowing in the dark. Her gray oversized hoodie pulled over her knees. Cold takeout beside her. The kind of stillness that is actually noise inside. She had been here before. Trusting the wrong thing. Believing in a foundation that had a crack running right through its center. Her studio hadn't just failed because of the economy. It had failed because her business partner had been signing contracts she hadn't known about, had drained their account in the final weeks, had left her holding the debt and the silence. She knew what betrayal tasted like. But this one hit different. Because somewhere over the last 3 weeks, Noah Kane had stopped being a client. And she hated herself a little for that. By morning she had made a decision. She showed up to the studio at 7 a.m. Noah was already there. Navy joggers. White tee. Coffee in hand. His hair slightly unruly like he had also not slept. He looked up when she walked in and whatever he saw in her face made him set the coffee down. You got something, he said. She put her phone on the desk between them. The screenshot's up. Explain this. He looked at the screen. His jaw tightened. He scrolled through once. Where did you get this? Anonymous email last night. But that's not the question on the table. He pulled out his own phone. Dialed. 3 seconds. Yeah. I need you to explain to me why your name is in a message sent to my photographer last night. A pause. I see. Another pause. Don't be here when I get back. He hung up and looked at Zara. Ronan is my head of communications. Was. His voice was clipped. Precise. The CEO face back on. He has been managing the press around a financial audit, one that cleared me, but that I chose to handle quietly to protect people on my team who made mistakes. He decided the best way to protect the company's image was to frame the rebrand as a distraction strategy. He stepped closer. He decided that without me. And he used my name to do it. That's a very clean explanation. It's the true one. How would I know that? Her voice was steady. Barely. Because I am standing here telling you, and I have never once lied to your face. He held her gaze, and the steadiness in him was infuriating because she believed it. I need you to decide if that matters. She looked at him for a long moment. It matters, she said quietly. That's the problem. The tension in his shoulders dropped slightly. Then Zara's phone rang. Unknown number. She almost ignored it. She didn't. Is this Zara Malik? A man's voice. Young. Careful. Speaking. My name is Marcus Kane. A pause. I think my brother trusts you. And I think someone is about to make sure he can't anymore. I need to meet with you. Alone. Zara looked at Noah. He could not hear the call. He was watching her face, and whatever he read there made the color shift in his expression. Everything okay? He asked. She lowered the phone slowly. She had 1 second to decide which truth she was loyal to. Her own fear, valid, earned, reasonable. Or something that had been growing in the space between film prints and late nights and a man who kept a photo of his brother face down so it would hurt less. I have to go take this, she said. She walked to the hallway. And she did not tell him who was on the line. That was her first mistake. Marcus Kane was 27 and had his brother's eyes. He sat across from Zara in a corner coffee shop in Wicker Park, wearing a brown bomber jacket and a beanie pulled low. He looked like someone who had learned how to be invisible on purpose. A skill, she recognized. A survival mechanism. She had spent her whole career photographing what people tried to hide. She could see it in him immediately. He doesn't know I'm back in Chicago yet, Marcus said, both hands around a mug he wasn't drinking from. I asked them to notify him through a third party first. I needed time to think. Why me? Zara asked. Because I've been watching the studio. Watching what you're building together. He looked up. He doesn't let people in. Not since what happened with the last person. But you, the way he talks to you is different. Like he's not performing. She felt something warm move through her chest that she promptly ignored. You said someone is trying to take him down, she said. Ronan didn't act alone. Marcus's voice lowered. The audit exposed a shell company. Someone high up was using Kane Creative to filter money. Ronan was protecting that person, not my brother. And that person knows that if Noah and I are reunited, I have information that could expose them completely. He paused. I've been safe because I've been hidden. But someone leaked my location to the press yesterday. I've got maybe 48 hours before this becomes loud. Zara sat very still. You need to go to Noah, she said. I need you to come with me. His eyes were steady and scared at the same time. He'll spiral. He always spirals when the people he loves show up at the edge of something dangerous. He'll try to send me away to protect me and destroy himself doing it. Marcus's voice cracked just slightly. He needs someone who isn't family to hold the center. You're that person. I don't know how or why, but you are. She thought about the screenshots. The anonymous email. The wall she had almost rebuilt around herself just last night. She thought about a darkroom lit red and a photo of 2 kids on a fire escape and the way Noah's hand had caught her wrist like a reflex. Like something instinctive. Like she was already someone worth holding on to. She stood up. Let's go. They walked into the studio together. Noah was standing at the mood board, back to the door, pinning a new photo. He had filled the board since Zara started. It looked alive now. It looked like something. He heard footsteps. Turned. Saw Marcus. The photo in his hand fell. Neither of them spoke for a full 10 seconds. Just two brothers in a room full of light, separated by 3 years of wrong choices and right love and the specific grief of missing someone who is still alive. Then Noah crossed the room in 4 steps and pulled Marcus into a hug so complete it looked like he was trying to make up for every day at once. Zara turned toward the window. Gave them the moment. She heard Marcus say something quiet. Heard Noah's exhale, rough, cracked open. When she turned back, Noah was looking at her over his brother's shoulder. She had seen a lot of things in his face over the past weeks. Guardedness. Sharpness. Humor he tried to hide. Grief he carried quietly. But this look was different. This look was someone deciding something. The next hours moved fast. Lawyers. A press contact Noah trusted. Marcus giving a formal statement that pulled the thread on the entire shell company scandal, not Noah's scandal. Someone else's. The truth, finally louder than the lie. It was almost midnight when the studio cleared out. Just the two of them again. Coffee gone cold. The city doing its Chicago thing outside the glass. Zara was putting her camera away. Noah stood a few feet behind her. "You came back," he said. "I went and got your brother," she corrected. "That's the same thing." She zipped her bag and turned. He was closer than she expected. He had changed at some point into a simple black hoodie. He looked tired and whole at the same time. Like someone who had just put something down after carrying it too long. "I almost didn't," she said. "Last night I almost packed up my gear and disappeared." "What stopped you?" She was quiet for a second. "A photo of 2 kids on a fire escape," she said. "And the fact that you turned it face down instead of getting rid of it. You don't throw away the things that hurt you. You just put them somewhere you can still reach them." She met his eyes. "I understood that." He stepped forward. 1 step. Deliberate. "Zara. Yeah. I would like to stop being your employer." His voice was careful. Honest. The most unguarded she had ever heard him. Starting immediately. She raised an eyebrow. "You're firing me?" "I'm offering to renegotiate." A small, real smile. The kind that had probably not been used in years. Same work. Different terms. She held his gaze. Everything she had survived. Everything she had guarded. Standing right next to something that felt like the opposite of empty. She reached out and picked up the vintage Leica from the table between them. Looked through the viewfinder. Pressed the shutter. "Okay," she said. Outside, the rain finally stopped. The city exhaled. The studio held them in its quiet, warm and lit and full of pictures still waiting to be taken. The gold hoop in Zara's ear caught the light. Noah reached out and tucked a loose curl behind her shoulder. Slow. Careful. Like developing film. Like something worth waiting for. She let him. The end.